only to then find it brought up in the Q&A. Obviously, the point of using those kind of tactics is to make the focus on the messenger rather than on the disgusting reality that Israel's practicing right now. It's not something that I'm unfamiliar with, of course, and I actually don't really care about it because my record is there and written down, and I'm not going to discuss my own beliefs because it's clear, and I've already made my own opposition to anti-Semitism perfectly clear, actually in a previous question, so you should probably listen to each other a bit more carefully. Now on the other specifics, we've got this point about the apartheid conventions. Look, it defines apartheid based on 6 inhumane acts, and you can go through those, and where those are taking place, that's part of your context for defining apartheid. I definitely recommend you look up the report that I referred to in 2012 by the UN Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, because those are people who are reasonably familiar with the treaties in question, and it was they who used the term apartheid, the UN Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, and talked about and told the Israeli government to eliminate the policies and practices that breach the prohibition of apartheid in the occupied West Bank. There was also something raised by the gentleman here who was talking about Christians, about the Palestinians' treatment of Christians in the West Bank, which itself is a weird formulation because the Christians are Palestinians in the West Bank. But to just look at a specific part of that, if you take Bethlehem as an example, sort of traditional heartland of Palestinian Christianity, the city has been hit hard by Israeli colonization and occupation policies over the years. A large amount of its land has been confiscated and expropriated for illegal Jewish settlements. The wall, of course, now also takes out part of Bethlehem's land. The economy has been hit hard again because of occupation policies. And sometimes people bring up this question of, oh, but aren't Palestinian Christians emigrating? And isn't that because of all the nasty Muslims wanting to get them? Well, actually, when you ask Palestinian Christians themselves, as in fact some people tend to do, in the polls that are done, they cite the reasons that you would expect to be found, i.e. they're emigrating because they don't have job opportunities, they're emigrating because the political conditions are so bleak for them as people who are living under a military apartheid system.